They're banned by something called the Tillman Act. It dates back to 1907. In the UK, they're not banned, but they require shareholder approval. So shareholders have to pass a resolution dealing with political expenditure, and it covers both donations and, say, expenditure on advertising on political issues by the company. Our politicians have really failed us in regards to the regulation of political finance, but we can improve the situation in Australia by improving the situation at our large listed companies who have very large sums of money to spend on political processes if they choose. I don't mean just donating money to a party or a candidate. It extends to lobbying, to paying a subscription to a trade association, which in turn makes political donations or engages in political expenditure. There are 24 questions. The questions were, for example, does the board have a publicly available policy that shareholders can look at, covering how it makes decisions about corporate political expenditure and ranging across donations to payments to associated entities of parties to payments to trade associations, which might be used for political purposes. So we then scored the ASX 20 companies. We also scored a few of the larger resource companies outside the ASX 20 on how they deal with their donation arrangements.
How did Australian companies score?
Poorly. Two high-scoring Australian ASX 20 companies were AGL and ANZ. Now, they scored relatively well by Australian terms.
What did those score?
Those scores were in around the 30%, one-third sort of level, but that's way higher than some of the low-scoring Australian companies who really did nothing more but fulfilled to the minimal extent their legal obligations to make disclosure. It would be better, undoubtedly, if political finance was better governed by law in Australia, but the simple fact is it's not.